Welcome to Starbound Valor HFY. Subscribe now and dive into daily epic sci-fi adventures, where humanity always rises. Aria Blake stood inside the loud helicopter, watching the endless green Amazon jungle spread below her like a living ocean. She came here for research, for history, for old stories about the lost city of gold, but the message she received 2 days ago changed everything. A strange signal came from deep inside the forest, a signal not human. Not normal, not natural. It repeated the same warning again and again. Do not enter. Human signature detected. Danger. The voice was broken, electronic, and full of fear. No one knew who sent it, but the world government forced Aria and her small team to fly out immediately. They did not know that aliens had already landed there hours before. In the darkness under the trees, the alien race Varkun had cut the jungle open with sharp blue lasers. Smoke rose like ghosts, and the ground glowed gold under their feet. Their scanner shook violently, showing red warnings and flashing symbols they had never seen before. The leader, Commander Zorak, stepped closer to a huge stone gate covered in gold dust. His translator machine beeped and said one sentence that made every alien freeze. Human presence recorded. But there was no human there, only silent ruins glowing in the night. Yet something inside the city was awake, watching them. The moment Zorak touched the gate, a deep vibration spread through the ground like a heartbeat. The trees shook. Birds screamed and flew away. The alien stepped back, but the gate slowly opened on its own. A warm golden light poured out, brighter than fire, brighter than sunlight. One Varkun soldier walked inside, confused, looking at the glowing floor. He said, "Commander, it feels like the city is alive." His voice broke into a scream. In one flash of light, he vanished. No body, no shadow, nothing. The other aliens stumbled backward, terrified. Zorak whispered, "This place belongs to humans, but not the humans we know." Above in the sky, Aria's helicopter was getting closer. She leaned forward and stared at the forest canopy. A strange golden glow rose from below, like the jungle was burning from the inside. "Pilot, go lower," she said. The helicopter dropped slowly. The glow became clearer. Aria felt her stomach twist. She had seen satellite photos of this area before. Nothing but forest, rivers, and old rocks. But now a massive circle of trees was gone. Burned. Cut. Removed. Something unnatural had happened there. When they landed, the air felt heavy, almost electric. Aria stepped out first, her boots sinking into soft mud. She heard her team moving behind her, Scientist Leo Ward, Technician Mara, and Soldier Captain Rian Hale. They all stared at the ground. Large footprints melted into the soil. Not human, not animal, alien. Captain Rian knelt and touched the mud. "These prints are fresh. Less than an hour." Aria looked up at the trees. Something, or someone was watching. She felt eyes on her from the dark. Mara pointed at a tree trunk burned in a perfect circle. "Laser marks," she whispered. Aria nodded. Only advanced technology could cut trees like that. She moved toward a narrow path where the forest had been sliced open. The smell of smoke and metal filled the air. As they reached the clearing, they finally saw it. El Dorado, or what remained of it. A giant stone gate stood in front of them, tall as a small building, covered in ancient symbols and golden dust that shimmered even in the shadows. It was not like the stories in books. It was bigger, older, far more strange. Something about the structure did not feel human. Or maybe it felt too human. Human in a way modern people no longer understood. Leo stepped closer. "This can't be real. The age, the carvings, this place is older than any known civilization." Aria touched one symbol softly. It felt warm, alive, like skin. Suddenly the ground under them vibrated. A strong, deep thump echoed beneath their feet, like the heartbeat of a giant creature sleeping underground. Captain Rian grabbed his gun. "Everyone back. Something is moving." But Aria stayed. The city called to her. She did not know why, but she felt something strange in her blood, as if a forgotten memory was trying to return. Leo shouted, "Look!" They turned and saw a stone statue near the entrance. Its eyes were glowing faint gold. And the worst part, Its head was slowly turning toward them. Mara gasped. "It's looking at us." The heartbeat grew louder. Thump, thump, thump. From inside the ruins, a cold wind blew out, carrying a faint whisper. A whisper in ancient human language that Arya did not understand, but somehow felt. The team stepped back, but Arya moved forward, drawn by something she could not explain. She saw a strange symbol at the center of the gate, 2 circles connected by a line, glowing faintly. Her hand reached out on its own. The moment she touched the symbol, a massive golden shockwave burst outward. Trees cracked. Birds fell from the sky. The stones glowed bright like fire. Captain Rian pulled her away violently as the gate snapped open with a roaring sound. A large room inside lit up with golden energy, and in the very center lay an object, shining, floating, humming like a living thing. But there was something else too. A shape on the floor. A body. Not human. Arya froze. It was an alien soldier. Dead but smiling. His eyes were golden. His skin was glowing. Leo whispered, voice shaking. "What happened to him?" Arya looked deeper into the glowing chamber. She saw carvings on the walls showing ancient humans fighting something in the sky. Humans using strange technology. Humans with glowing eyes. Her heartbeat raced. This city wasn't made for gold. It wasn't made for treasure. It was something else. Something dangerous. Something alive. She whispered. This place was built by humans, but not for humans. And the golden chamber answered with a deep echo, as if the city itself heard her, and approved. Arya Blake continued staring at the glowing chamber, unable to move as the strange golden mist floated around the dead alien's body. The mist shimmered like dust made of light, but every time it touched the stone walls, the symbols flickered awake as if they were breathing. Captain Rian stepped in front of Arya, raising his weapon, scanning every shadow. "We're not alone in here," he said quietly. Leo and Mara stayed close behind, their eyes wide with fear and confusion. Arya forced herself to step deeper inside. The air felt heavy, like she was sinking underwater. Every inch of the ruins seemed alive and watching. The giant stone statue outside had turned its head toward them, but now inside the chamber, the walls had faces carved into the gold, human faces with empty eyes that followed them. Leo pointed at one carving that showed a group of ancient humans standing in a circle around a glowing object. "This thing looks like some kind of engine," he whispered. "But who built this? How old is it?" His voice cracked because even thinking about it felt impossible. Human civilization wasn't supposed to be this advanced thousands of years ago. Mara slowly walked toward the alien body. She crouched down and touched the alien's armor. "He died smiling," she whispered. "Why? What did he see?" Before anyone could answer, the ground shook again, stronger this time. Dust rained from the ceiling. The golden object in the center rose higher, spinning slowly. A low hum filled the chamber, vibrating through their bones. Arya grabbed her head as a strange pressure pushed into her mind, like a whisper trying to enter her thoughts. She heard something, soft voices speaking in a language she had never heard but somehow understood. "You returned too late, or too early." Arya stumbled back. "I heard something," she whispered. Leo and Mara exchanged looks. "We didn't hear anything," Leo said. Captain Rian turned his flashlight toward the far corner of the room. "Everyone stay alert. Something triggered a power cycle." They all followed the light and saw a narrow tunnel leading deeper underground. Warm air blew from it, carrying the smell of metal and old earth. Arya felt drawn to it, like invisible hands were pulling her forward. "We need to go," she said firmly. "This city is waking up." Captain Rian hesitated but nodded. "Stay close. No one touches anything." They walked into the tunnel. The walls were smooth and covered in ancient gold lines that looked like veins. When Arya brushed her fingers along them, the lines glowed under her touch, reacting like living skin. Mara whispered, "This place knows we're here." As they walked deeper, they reached a small circular room. In the center stood a strange metal pedestal with a floating golden crystal above it. The crystal pulsed like a beating heart. Leo's scanner beeped wildly. "Arya, this energy is impossible. It's not natural." and it's reacting to you more than us. Arya swallowed hard. Ever since she entered the ruins, she felt something inside her changing, waking up. It scared her, but at the same time, she felt like she belonged here. Before she could think, the crystal flashed bright gold, and a beam of light shot toward the wall. A hologram formed, a tall, ancient human figure dressed in golden armor. His eyes shined like suns. His expression was calm but serious. He looked at them, then spoke in a deep voice. "If you are seeing this, the enemy has returned." The team froze. Arya stepped forward slowly. "What enemy? Who are you?" The hologram continued, as if responding to a script long prepared. "We built this city as a shield to protect Earth. It must never fall into alien hands. If activated incorrectly, it can destroy everything." The hologram flickered and disappeared. Mara grabbed Arya's arm. "This is bad. Aliens were here first. If they touched anything..." A sudden scream echoed from the tunnel behind them. A sound of pain, terror, and something unnatural. Captain Rian ran back first, weapon ready. When they reached the main chamber again, they saw it. The dead alien was gone. Only golden dust remained where the body had been. Arya felt her heart freeze. "Something took it," she whispered. Then they heard footsteps outside the ruins, heavy, metallic, not human. Leo whispered, "More aliens?" The footsteps grew louder, echoing through the stone halls. Captain Rian pulled the team behind a pillar. They watched as 3 Varkun soldiers entered the chamber, their armor cracked and glowing with gold. Their eyes flickered like broken lights. They moved strangely, like they were being controlled. Arya recognized one, the alien who screamed before dying. But he was standing again, alive, or something like alive. He walked to the golden object in the center and placed his hand on it. The object glowed brighter, pulsing faster like it was feeding off him. "They're merging with the city," Arya whispered. "It's using them." Suddenly, the half-dead alien snapped his head toward Arya's hiding place. His golden eyes locked on her. He spoke in a twisted, broken voice. "You should not be here." Captain Rian opened fire. The blast hit the alien but did nothing. The alien didn't even flinch. Instead, he stepped forward, and the golden veins spread across his body. "The city wants you," he whispered, pointing at Arya. The chamber lights flashed violently, and a loud alarm boomed through the entire structure. The ground cracked open under their feet. Leo shouted, "The city is activating." Arya grabbed her team. "We need to run. Now." They sprinted toward the exit as golden light exploded behind them. The ruins roared like a waking monster, and the half-dead alien screamed a sound that shook the air. As Arya ran, she looked back one last time, and saw something rising from the ground. A giant golden shape, like a heart made of metal and light, beating faster and faster. And then she knew this city wasn't a treasure. It was a weapon that had slept for thousands of years, and now it was fully awake. Arya Blake ran through the shaking tunnel as the deep golden heartbeat grew louder behind her, shaking dust from the ceiling and making the ground feel like it was alive under her boots. The strange golden light chased her and her team like a rising sun, bright and hungry, filling every space with its harsh glow. Captain Rian pushed Leo and Mara forward, shouting for them to keep running, but his voice was drowned out by the roaring hum coming from the heart of the city. Arya felt something painful inside her head, as if the city was speaking directly to her mind, calling her by a name she didn't recognize. "Daughter, return," the whisper echoed inside her skull, making her stumble, but she forced herself to keep moving. They burst out of the narrow tunnel into a larger hall, where more carvings covered the walls, carvings of ancient humans controlling the sky, fighting alien creatures, and standing inside golden rings of light. Leo shouted, "The city is powering up. We need to get outside before it collapses." But before they could take another step, the wall to their right cracked open like breaking glass. From inside the golden dust, a Varkun soldier stepped out, his face twisted in pain. Half of his armor melted into his skin. His eyes glowed bright gold, and his body moved like a puppet pulled by invisible strings. He looked at Arya and whispered in a broken voice that did not sound like his own, "The heart knows you." Captain Rian raised his weapon, but the alien moved faster than any normal creature. In a blur of motion, the alien lunged toward them, but before it could reach Arya, the floor beneath them split open with a thunderous boom. The team fell onto a lower platform, rolling across the stone as golden mist rose from the cracks like hot steam. Mara screamed as the platform tilted dangerously, threatening to break apart. Arya grabbed her hand and pulled her up just as another pulse from the golden heart shook the entire city. Above them, the half-dead alien stared down, its body flickering like a dying flame. It whispered again, "Human key must return," before disappearing into the rising light. Arya's breathing was heavy. She could feel sweat on her forehead, but the air was cold, too cold, like the city was draining the warmth around them. Leo crawled to a stone pillar and leaned on it. "Arya, why is it reacting to you? Every sensor, every glow, every wave, it's reacting to your presence." Arya shook her head. "I don't know, but I think it remembers something." Another violent tremor hit the ruins, and the stone ceiling cracked open, bathing the chamber in even more golden light. A long staircase appeared, leading downward into a deeper part of El Dorado. It looked freshly made, as if the city created it in that very moment. Arya felt drawn to it like a magnet. Captain Rian grabbed her arm. "Don't even think about it. We need to get out." But Arya's voice was firm. "No, this city is activating its core. If we don't understand it, it might destroy everything. This is not just a ruin, it's a weapon." Leo looked down the new staircase and swallowed nervously. "Then the core must be down there." Arya nodded. "The golden heart." Before anyone could argue, a loud screech echoed through the ruins. More footsteps, alien footsteps, approached from the shadows. But these footsteps sounded strange, uneven, like the aliens were struggling to control their own bodies. Captain Rian whispered, "We don't have time. We go down." They rushed toward the staircase as golden mist began crawling across the floor like living fog. Arya felt a cold shiver run up her spine when the mist touched her boot. It felt like fingers trying to hold her back. But she forced herself to keep moving. The staircase spiraled down into a massive underground chamber shaped like a circle. At the center of the chamber floated a huge golden heart-shaped structure, made of metal, stone, and light. It pulsed slowly, thump, 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 each pulse sending out a wave that shook the walls. The heart was connected to thick golden veins that stretched through the entire city, forming a giant network. Leo gasped, "This is the power source of El Dorado. It's alive." Arya stepped closer, feeling heat from the golden heart as if standing near a sun. Her own heart beat faster, matching the rhythm of the machine. She whispered, "It's syncing with me." Suddenly the golden heart flashed brightly, and a stream of energy shot out, forming a hologram of another ancient human. This one was a woman, tall and fierce, dressed in ceremonial armor with glowing patterns. She stared at Arya with piercing golden eyes. "You carry our echo," the hologram said. "Only you can activate the heart without destruction." Arya stepped back, stunned. "What do you mean? Who are you?" The hologram continued. "We built this city to defend Earth from those who wanted its light. Our bloodline held the key." Before she could ask anything else, the hologram dissolved as the golden heart pulsed violently, sending a shock wave through the chamber. The walls shook as cracks spread across the ground. Captain Rian shouted, "We need to move. The heart is destabilizing." But before they could escape, the sound of growling metal filled the air. 3 golden-infected Varkun soldiers crawled into the chamber, their bodies twisted and shaking as golden veins spread across their skin. They looked at Arya with empty glowing eyes and whispered in unison, "The heart chooses you. You cannot run." The golden mist around the heart expanded, swirling around Arya like a tornado of light. She felt something warm on her skin, something ancient pulling her closer. Leo yelled, "Arya, don't touch it." But the golden heart pulsed again, thump, and a beam of pure light shot out, hitting Arya directly in the chest. She didn't scream. She didn't fall. She felt everything. Every memory. Every war. Every ancient human. Every part of the city. The golden heart spoke inside her mind. "Awaken." and in that moment, the entire underground chamber exploded with blinding golden light as the ruins of El Dorado fully came to life. The golden light blasting from the heart threw Arya backward, but instead of hitting the ground, she floated in the middle of the chamber as if invisible hands held her up. Captain Rian shouted her name, but his voice sounded distant, like coming from underwater. Arya's eyes glowed bright gold. She saw flashes, images of ancient humans building giant structures, fighting alien armies, and placing the golden heart inside El Dorado thousands of years ago. She saw a city of light, a civilization far more advanced than modern humans could imagine, a race that vanished long before history ever started. When the light faded, Arya dropped to the ground, gasping for air. Her body shook, but her mind was clearer than ever. Leo rushed to her side. "Arya, are you hurt? What happened?" She touched her chest, where the beam had hit her. "I saw them, the people who built this place. They were humans, but not like us. They were stronger, smarter, older. This city was not made for treasure. It was made for war." Before they could process her words, a deep metal groan echoed through the chamber. The 3 Varkun soldiers infected with golden energy stepped forward, their bodies trembling as if fighting the city's control. One of them spoke in a broken voice, half alien and half something else. "The city wakes. The enemy rises. The first weapon must choose." Arya backed away. "Why do you keep saying the city wants me?" The alien raised its arm, showing golden veins spreading across its metallic skin. "Because your blood remembers. You carry the same code as the ones who made this heart." Leo stared at her in shock. "Arya, are they saying you're connected to these ancient humans?" Arya didn't know how to answer. The idea sounded impossible, but the golden energy inside her still pulsed like a second heartbeat. Captain Rian stepped between Arya and the alien. "I don't care what she is. Stay away from her." He fired several shots. The bullets hit the alien soldiers, but instead of bleeding, their bodies absorbed the metal, turning it into more golden veins. The infected aliens charged. Rian fired again, but the creatures moved faster now, their bodies twisting like they were made of fluid. Rian grabbed Arya's arm. "Move." They sprinted toward the side exit of the chamber as the aliens roared behind them. The staircase they came down was already collapsing, so they ran toward a tunnel that seemed newly revealed. The city was changing its shape, adjusting as if it wanted them to go deeper. "It's guiding us," Arya whispered. Leo shouted, "Guiding us where?" They ran until the tunnel opened into a giant circular hall. The ceiling was a dome covered in gold carvings of stars, planets, and strange symbols. In the center stood a massive device shaped like a ring, tall as a house, connected to dozens of golden conduits. It hummed loudly, glowing with the same pulse as the heart. Arya froze when she saw it. The hologram's voice echoed in her memory. "We built this city as a shield to protect Earth. It must never fall into alien hands." She stepped closer to the ring. "This is the weapon." Leo stared at it in disbelief. "What does it do?" Before anyone could answer, the ring lit up and projected a massive hologram of the Earth. Lines of golden energy surrounded the planet like a protective cage. Rian whispered, "It's the planetary weapon." Arya nodded slowly. "Not to attack, but to defend. The ancient humans built this place to protect Earth from alien invasion." Suddenly, the chamber lights flickered violently. A loud alarm sounded. The golden veins in the walls turned red. Leo shouted, "The Varkun must have activated something. The system is reacting." Arya turned toward the tunnel. The infected alien soldiers entered the room, screeching as golden energy shot from their eyes. The city was using them like puppets. One alien pointed at Arya. "You must take the trial. Only then can you control the city. Only then can the heart obey." Arya felt the golden pulse inside her respond. She stepped forward carefully. "What trial?" The aliens suddenly screamed, clutching their heads, losing control for a moment. Arya looked into their glowing eyes and realized the truth. They're not speaking for themselves. The city is speaking through them. The ground shook violently as the golden heart released another massive pulse. The giant ring in the center activated fully, shooting a beam of pure energy upward through the dome. A golden ripple spread across the entire city. Mara shouted, "Arya, look!" The hologram shifted, showing millions of alien ships surrounding Earth. The projection glitched, flickering between past and future. Then the hologram zoomed in, showing a symbol on the alien ships. Arya gasped. Varkun, they fought the ancient humans before. The projection showed ancient humans defeating the Varkun using El Dorado. But at the moment of victory, the city shut down, sealing itself. They won, Arya whispered. But something went wrong. They disappeared after. The infected alien soldier stepped forward and placed his glowing hand on the ring. Finish what your ancestors began. The ring opened like a doorway, revealing a chamber filled with light. A deep voice spoke inside Arya's mind. Enter the human trial. Captain Ryan grabbed Arya's shoulder. No, we don't know what's inside. You could die. Arya looked at him with steady eyes. If I don't go in, the city might destroy everything. The Varkun touched the core. The system is unstable. I'm the only one who can stop this. Leo whispered. Arya, if this thing tests you and you fail, she nodded. I know. She stepped toward the glowing doorway. The infected aliens bowed their heads as if recognizing her. The voice inside the chamber called again. Prove human worth. Arya took a deep breath and stepped inside. The doorway sealed behind her instantly, trapping her in a blinding golden light. Captain Ryan pounded on the door, shouting her name. But Arya was gone, inside the ancient test, designed thousands of years ago by a human race that no longer existed and whose last weapon was waking again. Arya Blake stood inside the glowing chamber of the human trial, surrounded by swirling golden light that moved like living fire around her body. She felt her heart beating fast, but the golden energy inside her chest beat even louder, matching the pulse of the city outside. She tried to step forward, but the light wrapped around her like warm chains and lifted her from the floor. A deep voice echoed from everywhere and nowhere at once. Human, before you command the first weapon, you must face the truth of your blood. The light suddenly hardened into a solid floor beneath her feet, and the room transformed into a massive battlefield filled with ancient warriors wearing golden armor. Arya gasped as she saw thousands of ancient humans standing in formation, their eyes glowing bright gold like suns. They looked powerful, fearless, more like gods than people. A massive alien army rushed toward them, creatures that looked like early versions of the Varkun, but bigger, sharper, more vicious. The humans fought with glowing weapons that hummed like lightning. The vision felt so real Arya could smell the smoke and hear the screams of battle. She covered her ears, but the voice spoke again. This was our war. This was our fall. The battlefield froze. All the warriors and aliens turned their heads slowly toward Arya, their eyes locking onto her as if she did not belong. Fear crawled up her spine. Why are you showing me this? She whispered. The golden warriors vanished, replaced by a single figure, a tall ancient woman with golden markings on her face. She stepped closer, her gaze sharp and heavy. Because your blood remembers, the woman said. Our line ended, but the echo survived in you. Arya shook her head. That's impossible. I'm not connected to any of you. But the woman raised her hand and touched Arya's forehead. A flood of memories rushed into her mind. Ancient humans building El Dorado, running from shadows in the sky, sealing themselves beneath the earth to protect something precious. Arya fell to her knees, breathless. Why me? The woman spoke softly. Because you are the last descendant of the Golden Line. Only you can control the heart. Before Arya could respond, the vision shattered like breaking glass, and she found herself standing in darkness. A loud alarm boomed through the chamber. The voice said, Your trial is not yet complete. The darkness pulled away, revealing a memory from Arya's own past, her younger self standing beside her father, a researcher who disappeared years ago. Arya reached out, tears filling her eyes. Dad, he turned slowly, but his face shifted into the ancient woman's again. Your past shapes your strength. Only truth unlocks the weapon. The chamber shook violently, and the floor split open, releasing golden energy that tried to pull her down. Arya screamed and fought the pull. She realized the trial wasn't just showing memories. It was testing her fear. She forced herself to stand, even as the golden wind cut against her skin. "I'm not afraid," she whispered, even though her voice trembled. The light calmed. The voice spoke. "The trial ends when you accept your place." The chamber turned completely silent. Arya stepped forward into the glowing center, and suddenly the city connected to her mind again. She felt everything outside happening at once. Captain Rian and Leo were trying to hold off the infected Varkun soldiers. Mara was screaming for them to retreat as the walls cracked. And deep inside the main chamber, Commander Zorak, the strongest Varkun leader, had reached the Golden Heart. Arya saw him in her mind as clearly as if standing next to him. His claws were pressed against the glowing surface, his body shaking as golden energy crawled up his arms. He growled in pain but did not let go. "It speaks," Zorak whispered in a voice mixed with fear and hunger. "It wants to live again." More Varkun soldiers gathered around him, chanting in their harsh alien language. They raised their weapons and pointed them toward the heart. Arya understood instantly. They were starting a ritual, trying to merge their minds with the golden core. If they succeeded, the ancient human weapon would fall under alien control. The city's alarms blared louder than ever. The holograms flickered violently. The golden veins across the walls began freezing into solid lines of light. Arya felt panic rising inside her. "No, I have to stop him." The voice of the trial spoke one last time. "Then accept what you are." Arya clenched her fists. She closed her eyes and let the golden energy inside her rise. When she opened them again, her irises glowed bright gold. The chamber recognized her answer. With a final burst of light, the trial ended. The doorway behind her unsealed and dissolved into dust. Arya stepped out into the main hall again, breathing hard but filled with new strength. Captain Rian rushed to her. "Arya, you're alive." Leo stared at her glowing eyes. "What would happen to you?" Arya did not answer. Her attention snapped toward the golden heart chamber. She could feel Zorak inside, draining the power, bending the weapon, twisting it. The ground shook as a massive shockwave burst from the core. A beam of golden energy shot upward through the ruins, tearing through the roof and into the sky like a golden tower. Mara screamed, "What is he doing?" Arya stared at the beam, feeling its heat in her bones. "He is trying to take control." Suddenly a second pulse followed the first, stronger, louder, almost alive. The heart was waking faster now. Arya whispered, "If he succeeds, Earth will fall." She took one step toward the golden chamber, and the ancient power inside her responded like a silent army, waiting for its commander. Arya Blake was no longer just a researcher. She was now the chosen key of a weapon that could save the world or destroy it. Arya Blake ran toward the Golden Heart Chamber with Captain Rian, Leo, and Mara struggling behind her, but she didn't feel the weight of her own steps anymore. The golden energy inside her guided her movements like an instinct older than memory. The entire city shook as Commander Zorak pushed his claws deeper into the glowing core, forcing the golden veins to spread across his body. His roar echoed through the tunnels like a beast awakening. When Arya reached the entrance of the chamber, the air was so hot it felt like stepping into the sun. Zorak stood in the center, his massive alien frame trembling, his eyes turning fully gold. He looked at Arya with a twisted smile. "Your ancestors were strong, but they failed," he said, voice cracking between human-like tone and monstrous growl. "Now the city will bow to me." Arya felt the heart pulse painfully inside her chest, as if warning her that something terrible was happening. The golden rings surrounding the heart were spinning too fast, the walls cracking under the pressure of uncontrolled power. Leo shouted over the noise, "Arya, if he keeps this up, the heart will overload. It can destroy everything." Mara pulled out a scanner, her hands shaking. "The power output is rising, dangerous levels. We need to stop him now." But Arya knew she couldn't stop Zorak with weapons. She stepped forward slowly, ignoring Captain Rian's warning shout. The golden energy responded instantly. The floor lit up under her feet, forming a glowing path toward the core. Zorak growled and slammed his claw into the ground. A shockwave threw Rian, Leo, and Mara against the wall. Arya held her ground, the golden light shielding her like invisible armor. The city was protecting her, but also testing her. A deep rumble filled the air. The chamber darkened except for the golden core. The ancient voice that guided Arya before returned, louder, heavier, echoing in her bones. Human, the trial is not complete. The city will judge your worth. The golden floor split open, and Arya fell through a beam of light. She landed safely on a platform, suspended over endless darkness. Her friends, Zorak, the Golden Heart, everything disappeared. She was alone in a new chamber, shaped like a perfect circle, with walls glowing faint gold. The voice said, "To command the weapon, you must face the truth of humanity." Arya's breath shook. What truth? The walls transformed instantly. They showed scenes of human history, wars, destruction, hatred, greed. Humans fighting each other, burning cities, using weapons for violence instead of protection. Arya turned her head away. "This is not all we are." The voice replied, "Yet it is a part of you. A weapon in human hands can save or destroy." The images shifted to show kindness, people helping each other, saving lives, rebuilding cities. The contrast was painful. The voice spoke again. "Your ancestors created us to protect, but even they feared the power they built. They sealed the weapons so only one with pure intent could lead it." Arya whispered, "And you think that's me?" The room darkened. The voice asked, "Do you seek this power for saving your world, or for fear of losing it?" Arya felt her chest tighten. She thought of her father studying ancient ruins, teaching her to search for truth. She thought of Earth, undefended, unaware. She thought of her team, fighting for survival above. She replied softly, "I want to protect them. I want to stop Zorak. I want to save Earth." The chamber glowed bright gold. But suddenly, the darkness returned, heavier this time. A second voice spoke, colder, deeper. "Words are easy. Power corrupts all humans." A mirror formed in front of her. Instead of her reflection, she saw herself holding the Golden Heart, controlling armies, ruling Earth with unlimited power. Her eyes glowed cruel and merciless. Arya stepped back in horror. "No, that's not me." The dark voice whispered, "It could be." The floor cracked, releasing black mist that wrapped around her legs, pulling her toward the dark image. Arya struggled, but the mist grew stronger. She felt fear choking her. "No, please stop," the dark voice shouted. "Humans always destroy what they touch." Arya clenched her fists, fighting back tears as she screamed, "I am not like that." Her voice echoed so loudly the chamber itself trembled. The mirror shattered. The darkness dissolved. The light returned, brighter than ever. The ancient voice spoke gently. "You have rejected corruption. You have chosen protection. The city accepts your heart." Golden energy rushed into her, filling her from head to toe. Her eyes glowed pure gold. She felt every part of El Dorado connect to her, its walls, its tunnels, its heartbeat. She whispered, "I can feel everything." The chamber vanished, and she appeared back in the heart room. Zorak was still gripping the core, but now the golden energy burned his skin. He roared in pain. "What have you done?" Arya stepped forward. The golden veins on the floor obeyed her steps. "I completed the trial," she said calmly. Zorak pulled his claws from the core and charged at her with impossible speed. Arya raised her hand. A golden barrier appeared instantly, throwing Zorak backward like a broken puppet. The entire city responded to Arya's presence. She finally understood. She was now the rightful master of El Dorado. The infected Varkun soldiers stumbled into the chamber, their bodies shaking uncontrollably. They bowed their heads to Arya like servants recognizing a queen. Leo whispered from behind a pillar, "Oh my God, she controls it." Captain Rian stared at her glowing eyes, unable to speak. Arya turned toward the Golden Heart. Its pulse matched hers now, steady, powerful, alive. "The city accepts humanity," she whispered. "And now, I must stop Zorak." The ground shook as Zorak rose again, roaring with fury. The final battle had begun. Arya Blake stood at the center of the Golden Heart chamber, her eyes burning with bright gold as the power of El Dorado flowed through her veins like living fire. But she felt calm, calmer than she had ever been in her life. Across the chamber, Commander Zorak rose with a violent roar, his alien body swollen with unstable golden veins, his claws shaking as the power inside him fought to tear him apart. The chamber trembled as he stepped forward, each footstep cracking the floor like thunder. Captain Rian, Leo, and Mara watched from behind a fallen pillar, their faces pale with fear and awe. Arya did not move. She simply raised her hand. The golden rings above her head began spinning slowly, releasing waves of soft light. Zorak swung his claw, sending a shock wave straight toward her, but the wave broke apart before reaching her, dissolving into harmless sparks. Zorak's eyes widened. "You dare defy me with my own prize," he screamed. Arya took a step forward, and the entire chamber responded. Golden roots rose from the floor, wrapping around her feet like armor, strengthening her connection to the city. She spoke calmly but firmly. "This city does not belong to you. It never did. You came for power, but the city only obeys those who protect life." Zorak snarled and leaped, moving faster than any human eye could follow. But Arya raised her hand again, and a barrier of golden light appeared instantly, stopping him mid-air. His body smashed into it and fell to the ground. The impact shook the entire room. Zorak roared with rage and pain, golden cracks crawling up his arms like burning chains. "I am a commander of the Varkun Empire. I am the strongest," he growled. Arya shook her head. "Strength without purpose is nothing." The golden roots around Arya expanded, rising behind her like glowing wings. Zorak attacked again, slamming his claws into the ground, sending a massive shock wave that tore through the chamber. Stone crashed, pillars collapsed, and dust filled the air. But Arya remained rooted in place, protected by the golden aura wrapping her like a second skin. Behind her, Mara shouted, "Arya, the entire structure is destabilizing. If this continues, everything will collapse." Leo added, "He's overloaded. That corrupted power inside him can explode any moment." Arya heard them, but she also felt something deeper, a warning from the city itself. El Dorado was speaking to her again, its voice echoing through her mind. "Human, the enemy's corruption threatens the core. Purify him, or all will fall." Arya closed her eyes and breathed deeply. "Then show me how." The golden light around her formed a sphere, and symbols began to appear in the air, ancient symbols of protection and balance. Zorak saw this and panicked. He roared and charged again, his entire body glowing dangerously bright. "No, you will not take this from me," he screamed. But Arya opened her eyes, glowing pure gold, and stepped forward. "I'm not taking anything," she whispered. "I'm saving everyone." She raised both hands, and the golden roots shot forward like living lightning, wrapping around Zorak's arms, legs, and chest. He roared and struggled, pulling with all his strength, but the light only tightened. A powerful wind filled the chamber as the purification began. Zorak's body shook violently, the stolen golden energy ripping itself out of his veins and flowing into the roots. "Stop! Stop this, human," he begged, his voice cracking. But there was no stopping. The golden heart behind Arya pulsed faster and faster, syncing with her heartbeat. Arya felt everything, Zorak's pain, the city's fear, her own determination. She pushed her hands forward, forcing the light to intensify. A beam of pure gold shot into Zorak's chest. He screamed louder than ever before. Leo and Mara covered their ears. Captain Rian held the pillar to keep from falling. The chamber was shaking so violently it felt like the world was ending. Zorak's voice grew weaker. "Humans are weak. You cannot control this power," he whispered. Arya stepped closer, her voice soft but strong. "Humans are not perfect, but we choose to protect. That is our strength." She placed her glowing hand on Zorak's forehead. The golden energy surged through him. His body stopped struggling. The corrupted veins on his skin dimmed. His eyes lost their violent glow. And then silence. Zorak collapsed to his knees as the last of the golden corruption left his body. He looked at Arya not with rage, but with something closer to sorrow. I only wanted to make my empire proud, he whispered weakly. Arya gently lowered him to the floor as the golden light faded around him. Your empire demanded power, she said softly. But power without mercy always destroys. Zorak exhaled one last trembling breath. The light in his eyes disappeared. The chamber stopped shaking. The golden heart pulsed softly, calm once again. The purification was complete. Arya stood up slowly. The glowing armor faded from her body, but the golden light in her eyes remained. Her team rushed toward her. Mara hugged her tightly. Leo's voice broke. I thought we lost you. Captain Rian placed a hand on her shoulder. You saved all of us. You saved the city. Arya looked down at Zorak's still form. No, she whispered. This was only the beginning. Because suddenly, the ground rumbled again, much deeper than before. Far above them, alarms echoed through the golden halls. Leo looked up in horror. What now? Arya's eyes widened. The Varkun fleet, they're here. The final war for El Dorado had just begun. Arya Blake felt the chamber shake again, but this time it was not from Zorak's power. It was from something far greater above them. The deep rumble came again, and the golden walls flickered like a heartbeat skipping in fear. Captain Rian grabbed the edge of a pillar to steady himself and shouted, Arya, we need to move. Whatever is happening above, it's massive. Leo checked his wrist screen, and his face drained of all color. Oh no, oh no, no, no. The Varkun fleet just entered the atmosphere. Hundreds of warships. Mara stared at the dusty ceiling. How did they arrive so fast? Their last known location was days away. Arya closed her eyes, and the golden energy inside her pulsed. She felt something like a whisper moving through her mind. The city was showing her what it sensed. She saw images, giant silver Varkun ships tearing through the clouds, red beams charging under their hulls, the sky boiling with fire. Arya's eyes snapped open. They came here because Zorak sent a distress signal before the trial. They think he already controls the city. Captain Rian cursed under his breath. They're coming to claim the weapon. Arya looked at her team, her eyes glowing faintly. We have to get to the surface. The Golden Heart chamber responded to her voice. The floor split, forming a massive rising platform. Hold on, she yelled as the platform shot upward through a tunnel of light. The walls around them blurred, golden energy racing like rivers. Within seconds, they reached the upper city. When the platform opened, the sight before them froze everyone in place. The sky wasn't blue anymore, it was red. Completely red. Varkun warships covered the heavens like a metal storm, their shadows darkening the golden city. The largest ship, easily the size of a mountain, hovered above the central spire. Its cannons glowed with red energy, ready to fire. Leo whispered, if they shoot, the whole city will disappear. Mara grabbed Arya's arm. Can the city protect itself? Arya felt the ground tremble beneath her. Yes, but it needs me. Suddenly, loudspeaker transmissions echoed from the sky, the Varkun commander's voice booming across the city. This is Admiral Vurak of the Varkun Empire. Human intruders, surrender the city of El Dorado. Surrender the weapon, or we will destroy everything below. Captain Rian clenched his teeth. They think we stole it. Arya looked up at the largest ship. No, they think their own commander succeeded. Mara whispered. They don't know Zorak is dead. The red glow intensified. The cannons were charging. Arya stepped forward. Golden light spread from her feet, forming a path across the city like a glowing bridge. She could feel every part of El Dorado responding to her heartbeat. She lifted her hands. The city obeyed. Giant golden shields rose from the towers, forming a dome above the city, just as the first Varkun cannon fired. Boom! A red beam crashed into the golden dome. The impact sent shockwaves through the air, throwing dust and sparks everywhere. The dome cracked but didn't break. Leo almost fell to the ground. Arya, they're testing the shield. They'll fire again. Arya closed her eyes. Then we won't let them. She raised her hands higher. The golden energy spread through the dome, repairing the cracks instantly. The Admiral's voice thundered again, angrier than before. The city responds to you. Then you are the new master. Surrender now, human. Your death will be quick. Arya shouted back, her voice echoing. Leave this place. El Dorado will never belong to the Varkun Empire. For a moment, the sky went silent. Then the Admiral laughed, a cold, metallic laugh. Very well. You choose war. All at once, every Varkun ship aimed its cannons downward. Hundreds of glowing red circles appeared in the sky like burning suns. Captain Rian whispered, Arya, even with your power, I don't think the city can survive this. Arya inhaled deeply. She felt the golden energy rise inside her chest like fire. I won't let them destroy this place. The city answered. Towers opened. Golden rings rose from the ground. Energy lines lit up the streets. A deep hum filled the air. The ancient voice of the city whispered inside Arya's mind. Human protector, the weapon awakens. A massive golden sphere formed around Arya and her team, lifting them into the air. Leo shouted, Arya, what's happening? Arya spoke softly. The city is granting me access to its greatest defense. The ground cracked. A giant structure rose, a golden cannon taller than any building on Earth. Its core glowed like a newborn sun. Mara gasped. That's the ancient weapon. Arya nodded slowly. The sun lance. The Varkun Admiral shouted, Fire! Hundreds of red beams shot from the sky. Arya raised her hands, and the sun lance charged, gathering light so bright it hurt to look at. The red beams hit the dome. Cracks spread. The dome began to shatter. Arya screamed, Now! The sun lance unleashed a blast of pure gold into the sky. The explosion lit the world white. Dozens of Varkun ships were destroyed instantly, torn apart by the golden wave. The shock wave rolled across the clouds, breaking the fleet's formation. But as the golden light faded, Arya's knees buckled. The city flickered. Mara caught her. Arya, stay with us. Arya breathed heavily. That was only the first attack. In the sky, the massive flagship remained untouched. The Admiral's furious voice echoed across the city. You destroyed my fleet, but you cannot destroy me. Prepare for the final assault. Arya pushed herself up, eyes glowing brighter than ever. Then I'll meet him myself. The final battle was coming, and Arya knew she had no choice but to face the Varkun Admiral alone. Arya Blake stood on the upper platform of the Golden Tower, her chest rising and falling as she struggled to breathe. But her glowing eyes were fixed on the sky, where the massive Varkun flagship hovered like a steel mountain. The rest of the Varkun fleet was in flames or falling apart after the Sun Lance's attack, yet the flagship remained untouched, its armor shining red like a burning star. Admiral Vurok's voice echoed across the sky again, deeper and angrier than before. Human girl, you destroyed my fleet. You killed my commander, and now you dare challenge me. Arya felt her hands tremble, not from fear, but from the weight of the golden power inside her. She knew she couldn't use the Sun Lance again. They had used too much energy. The city was tired, its towers flickering like dying candles. Mara, Leo, and Captain Rian ran up beside her, panting. Leo grabbed her arm. Arya, you can't just go up there alone. Mara shook her head. This is suicide, Arya. The Admiral is stronger than Zorak ever was. Captain Rian placed a firm hand on her shoulder. You've done enough. Let us handle what comes next. Arya looked at all of them, her voice soft but steady. Zorak wanted power. Vurok wants destruction. He will burn the city, and then he will burn Earth. I can't let that happen. The golden platform beneath her feet suddenly glowed, responding to her decision. A beam of light shot upward, forming a tall golden column leading straight to the flagship. The city was opening a path for her, and only her. Arya stepped onto the rising beam. Mara reached out desperately. Arya, please don't go. Arya smiled sadly. Trust me, I'll come back. And before they could stop her, the golden beam launched upward with incredible speed, shooting her into the sky. The wind roared past her ears, clouds rushing around her as she ascended toward the massive warship. As she rose, the Admiral watched from his command deck, his glowing red eyes narrowing. So, the girl wants to face me herself, he growled. Lower the shields. Bring her inside. The flagship's massive doors opened like the jaws of a beast as Arya reached them. The golden beam guided her safely into the hangar before dissolving. She landed gently on the metal floor. The moment her feet touched the surface, dozens of Varkun soldiers surrounded her, weapons raised. Arya stood still, calm. A wave of golden energy pulsed through her body, and the soldiers froze in place, unable to move. Their bodies trembled under the invisible pressure. And then, from the far end of the hangar, Admiral Vurak stepped forward. He was taller than Zorak, twice as wide, with spikes covering his armor and glowing red lines pulsing across his skin. His claws were long and razor-sharp, his presence heavy enough to make the air itself feel colder. He looked at Arya with a cruel smile. "So, you are the one the city chose." Arya did not answer. She only looked at him, golden energy flickering around her like soft flames. Vurak continued, his voice echoing through the hangar. "Zorak was weak. He begged for power. I take power. I claim it. And I will take yours as well." With a sudden movement, he charged at her, faster than any creature his size should move. His claws slashed through the air, but Arya formed a golden shield instantly, blocking the strike. The impact sent a shockwave through the hangar, sparks flying everywhere. Arya slid back several feet, her arms shaking from the force. Vurak laughed. "You are strong, but not strong enough." He attacked again, this time with both claws. Arya dodged left, then right, moving with the grace of flowing light. She raised her hand and sent a blast of golden energy toward him, but Vurak crossed his arms and absorbed it, barely stepping back. "Pathetic," he growled. "That weak light cannot harm me." Arya felt her heart race. His body, it didn't react like Zorak's. He wasn't just using stolen power. He was built for power. Vurak slammed his fist into the ground, causing the entire hangar to crack. Metal tore apart. Soldiers stumbled. Arya leaped backward, landing on the broken platform. The Admiral charged again. Arya pushed her hands forward, forming a massive golden barrier. Vurak smashed into it, and the barrier shattered like glass. Arya flew across the hangar, hitting a metal wall with brutal force. Pain shot through her body. Her vision blurred for a moment. She coughed, trying to stand, but Vurak was already there, grabbing her by the throat and lifting her into the air. "Look at you," he hissed. "A child, and yet the city bowed to you." His grip tightened. Arya felt the air leave her lungs. "Why do you hate humans so much?" she choked out. Vurak's eyes flashed. "Because humans stand in the way of our future. Your kind grows, spreads, takes. Soon you will reach our worlds. You will challenge our rule." He leaned closer. "We destroy all threats before they grow strong." Arya's vision darkened. She felt her fingers trembling. The golden light inside her was fading. She whispered, "You're wrong." A soft sound filled the hangar. A heartbeat. Not hers, the city's. Even here, far from the golden walls, it reached her, and something inside her awakened. Her eyes snapped open, glowing brighter than ever before. A wave of golden shock tore through the Admiral's grip, blasting him backward. Arya landed on her feet, the floor glowing under her. She was breathing hard, but her aura was stronger, hotter, almost blinding. Vurak growled, "Impossible." Arya raised her hand. "The city trusts me, not because I'm strong, but because I choose to protect." The golden energy around her thickened, forming a swirling sphere. Vurak roared and charged again, but Arya stepped forward, and the golden sphere exploded outward. The shock wave hit Vurak like a meteor, sending him crashing into the far wall with a thunderous impact. Sparks fell. The ship shook. Arya stood tall, energy burning around her like a second sun. The Admiral struggled to rise, shocked by her growing strength. Arya whispered, "This ends now." And as she walked toward him, the whole ship trembled because the final battle between light and darkness had truly begun. Arya Blake floated above the shattered floor of the Varkun flagship, her golden eyes burning like twin suns, the energy of Dorado flowing through her like a river of light. The hangars shook violently from the aftershocks of the battle, metal groaning and sparks flying everywhere. Admiral Vurak struggled to rise from the wall where Arya had thrown him, his red veins flickering erratically as he hissed. "This is impossible. A human cannot command the city's power alone." Arya's eyes narrowed. "It's not me alone," she whispered, feeling the pulse of the entire city flowing into her mind. "It's humanity. The city recognizes our choices, our courage, our will to protect, not destroy." Vurak roared and charged, claws slicing through the air at impossible speed. But Arya raised her hand, and the golden energy formed an invisible shield, deflecting him like a child batting at a hornet. The admiral skidded backward, claws scraping the metal floor. Sparks flew. He snarled, "I will break you, and then I will take the city for myself." The golden heart behind Arya pulsed wildly, sending ripples of energy across the flagship. Suddenly, the walls lit up with golden runes, ancient symbols Arya had never seen, but somehow understood. They glowed brighter with her heartbeat, and the energy inside her responded like a loyal army. She whispered, "The city is with me." The hangar shook as Vurak roared again and lunged. This time Arya stepped forward, releasing a wave of golden energy that slammed into him like a tidal wave. He screeched as the energy tore through his armor, burning his veins, forcing him backward. Arya didn't stop. She raised her hands higher, calling on every ounce of power Dorado had given her. Outside the flagship, the remnants of the Varkun fleet were beginning to retreat, their ships damaged, engines failing. The golden light from Arya's energy stretched far into the sky, visible even from miles below. The city's heartbeat synced with hers, a rhythmic pulse of unstoppable force. Vurak roared, slamming his fists on the floor, sending a shockwave toward Arya. But she leapt into the air, golden light enveloping her body completely, forming a protective cocoon that deflected the attack. "Enough!" she shouted. Her voice echoed like thunder across the ship. The golden sphere expanded, forcing the admiral backward. Sparks flew from the ship systems, alarms blared, and the walls trembled. Arya's heart raced, but she felt calm. She knew what she had to do. The city's voice whispered in her mind, "Human, you are the last link, the weapon of protection. Awaken the full legacy." Arya closed her eyes. Images of ancient humans flooded her mind, builders, warriors, thinkers, protectors of Earth. They showed her the final secret of the Golden Heart. The Sun Lance could not only destroy enemies, it could erase corruption, purify those who sought to use it for evil. She opened her eyes, glowing brighter than ever. "Vurak, this is your only warning," she said. "Leave now, or be purified." Vurak growled, his red veins flaring. "I will never bow to humans." He charged again, faster, stronger. Arya raised both hands, and the Sun Lance, a golden column of pure energy, emerged from the city's core, extending into the flagship through the walls. The energy wrapped around the admiral, holding him suspended. His screams filled the hangar as golden light surged into his body, cleansing the corruption, burning away the stolen power he had absorbed from Zorak and the Heart. He thrashed violently, but the energy was unstoppable. Arya's voice was steady, strong, full of command. "Feel the truth of the city. Feel the choice of humanity. Protect, do not destroy." The purification was complete within moments. Vurak's body went limp. The golden veins dimmed, leaving him weak and powerless, but alive. Arya lowered the Sun Lance. The hangar was silent except for her heartbeat and the faint hum of the city. She floated down gently, landing before Vurak, who looked up at her with disbelief. I am alive," he whispered. Arya nodded. "Yes, but you will never threaten Earth again. The city will not allow it." Outside, the sky returned to normal, fading from red back to blue. The wrecked fleet burned in the distance. The sun shone on Dorado, golden towers gleaming like beacons of hope. Captain Rian, Leo, and Mara ran to her, relief flooding their faces. "Arya, you did it," Rian said, voice trembling. "The fleet, they're gone." Leo laughed nervously. "I can't believe it, you actually did it." Mara hugged her tightly. "You saved everyone." Arya smiled faintly but looked back at the fallen admiral. "This is only the beginning," she said softly. "The city has awakened, and Earth must be ready. But today, humanity proved that it can wield power with responsibility." The golden heart pulsed softly, as if acknowledging her words. Arya placed her hand on it. A warmth spread through her, filling her with calm, strength, and purpose. The city itself seemed to breathe with relief. The legacy of ancient humans had survived, carried through her bloodline, awakened in her choices. She looked to the horizon, where the scattered Varkun ships were retreating, and knew this victory was more than just a battle. It was a symbol. Humanity could rise, protect, and survive even against the strongest alien threats. Arya took a deep breath. She was no longer just a researcher. She was the chosen protector of El Dorado, the last link of a civilization long gone but never forgotten. The golden city shimmered behind her, alive, powerful, and ready for whatever came next. And with that, Arya Blake stepped forward, not as a human fighting alone, but as humanity itself, carrying the legacy that had been waiting for millennia to awaken and defend the world. The future of Earth had a guardian, and she was ready.